Okay, so I finally got a mullet. Alright, well, not really, but my Yeti SB140, which you're gonna watch me ride now on my local trails, which just had a huge thunderstorm and a whole bunch of stuff's probably down the litter of the trail. We're gonna see if the 29er up front actually really helps with rollover and stuff. I'll talk a lot more about it when we get to the top of the hill. I usually ride to where I'm out of breath. I need a break anyway, so let's ride, see how things go with some nice new clearance and power up front, I hope. I'll tell you more in a minute. See how we do down the slippery rocky section. It's pretty wet too. Definitely feel some better rollover up front. Well, I usually ride this trail, honestly, kind of gave up riding my Yeti on this trail because while it's nimble and easier to kind of get through some of this stuff, I always kind of thought it was just easier to run my fully rigid fat bike in here because I could just go over or through everything. So a little out of practice riding my smaller bike. That's okay, because hopefully this upgrade will do something to help up. So now have Raceface Aeffect 29-inch wheel up front. It's the Enduro style wheel we have, which I'll get a little bit more to in a minute. And put a Maxxis Assegai up there too, because as I mentioned, my fat bike does most of my trail duty around here and other places now. So I thought, let's make this kind of small, nimble Yeti SB140 into more of a park bike. And if you watch my other videos, you can probably tell it's kind of where I've been leaning for years anyway. But we'll add some commentary about that when I get out to the bike park. But for now, we're just testing it out. Literally just finished doing the upgrade. So we now have a bigger wheel up front. And of course, a new fork, which again is a lot more enduro focused and overkill for a trail like this. What is it, you might wonder? It was the 40-something% off RockShox domain RC I picked up for like $250 for a Labor Day special on Jensen. This is at RockUp. Nice. I am slipping and sliding a lot on these wet rocks here, so I'm not fully able to test my rollover situation, but it does feel pretty good so far. Again, these are all first impressions, and RockShox fork is freaking huge. It's a little heavy. It doesn't have all the adjustment, and it doesn't match the rest of the Fox stuff on this bike, the rear float and switch infinity parts. But this bike's a good 4 seasons old now, and I'm past the point of caring if everything matches and if everything's top notch. Let's test this out here. It's a really rough part here. Hear the chatter, but it feels pretty good. I got the tires a little bit higher inflated than I need them. But still able to pick up speed pretty quickly. I'm liking this so far. It's all first impressions. I'm gonna hopefully get to do some downhill with it soon, which again was pretty much been slowly upgrading this sport anyway. No, that's not really what the bike was designed to do. It's slippery today, but eventually the sun will bake off all the water. Man, it's humid out. All right. So while we're riding up this hill here, I'll probably do us both a favor and cut most of it, but I'll tell you what happened. So, I was riding the local bike park, part of Powder Ridge, and that's in Middlefield, Connecticut. That's rocky and that plowed through that way more than this bike ever had before, that's for sure. Might not be able to see the rocks because of all the grass, but yeah, it's pretty messy there. I had my first real bike crash there as a grown-up, and I forgot how rocky it was. But that's another story for another time. So anyway, I went to Powder Ridge. It wasn't a busy day. I had the whole place to myself. It was great. And I was taking one of their green trails to get to some of the jumps I wanted to practice. If you've ever been there, they keep building that place up too, slowly but surely. Kind of like this bike. And what a nice day out here though. They've been building up slowly but surely, and they have some different jumps to practice on. I got this bike not because I was going to do all the crazy tricks that the guys do in the promo videos on it, because it was a well-rounded all-mountain bike that felt a lot like the old 26-inchers that I rode like for 30 years prior to getting this. So that's why I went with it. In retrospect, probably should have gotten an enduro or downhill bike for the way I ride this. Just like, hold on and don't die. I don't do a lot of tricks and jumps and stuff, but when I practice them, I like to have a little privacy because I'm not great. And I'll admit, I'm a little self-conscious. So anyway, I had the park to myself. I was going to do some of those rides, some of those jumps, practice them, not worry about any 12-year-old kid flying over my head. And on the green trail, I was about a foot off the ground, going over a small jump. Done it a million times on this bike and the fat bike. Didn't even think about it. And you could probably guess it, front wheel blew out. Hold on. This feels good through the rough stuff. That feels really good. Actually is a little bit of a bump there that you can get a little bit of air on. I'll lock up the door. See how that feels. This is kind of a long climb that I can get up on my fat bike thanks to traction. Let's see how this works. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit to keep my mind off it. So, with all the interruptions in the story, you can probably guess. Front tire, front wheel, kablooey. I don't know if I hit a rock or what, but front tire blew up, bike pitched out flying into a pile of rocks. I had pads on everything, walked away, the dent in my helmet, thankfully no concussion, scratched up elbow, thankfully just road rash. Oop, yeah, feels a little too loose to get up that for me right now. My Wyatt fat bike, I'd be up this no problem, just because the tires are 4 inches. And the wet loose over hard pack is a little too much. I got a 2.6 up front, which is nice. so far. And I got a 2.5 in the back. Actually, did I say that backwards? 2.5 up front, 2.6 in the back. This is technically a 27.5 plus bike. For plus size guys like me, I guess. But anyway, after the crash, I walked the bike back to the lift because I wasn't even that far away. They let me ride down in the house, sitting on a busted front end. So I've been looking for an upgrade path for this bike to better handle that type of stuff. And hawk battle up there. And what I eventually led to was me finally getting the parts that I was talking about. I know there's a really great Greenville video on Bike Mag where they go with the 44 mil offset fork. They knock it down from 160 to 140 travel to keep the geometry, etc., etc. But my kind of riding, maybe my size, I don't know. I've never been bonkers about the geometry on this bike anyway. I actually have a longer stem on it. The 50 mil reach I added to get over the front for precisely this. I'd climb up this stuff and the front would come right up. Again, the conditions today, don't know if I'm going to make it up here anyway, but I can already say there's a lot of wheel in front of me and it's not going anywhere. Is it providing a hell of a lot of traction? I don't know. But it's definitely keeping me planted a lot better than the 27.5 wheel front used to. Maybe it's the extra weight with the Enduro wheel, the 38 millimeter stanchion fork. Sorry for making a little motion sick. That first part of the climb is steeper, a little harder to get up, and away it's shorter. I'm not like that out of shape. Just have to pedal a little harder to get this up than I anticipated because of the conditions. Actually, it's a little better than totally dry, I guess. Alright. Probably didn't help that I just had 5 guys. That's not feeling good right now either. Give me a sec. I'll tell you a little bit more about the upgrade. Hey, so made it up to the top, as you heard. I'll tell you a little bit more about this in a more coherent way, where I'm not rambling. If you skip that beginning part, go board, or if you just want the more concise version, here it goes. So, short version of the story. Been wanting to upgrade the bike for a long time. Make it more for park duty. Give it more stability and more stick-to-itiveness to the ground. I know it's a poppy and playful bike. It still is. It's still always going to be because of the frame. I'm not the most poppy and playful rider. I wanted something that felt a little more stable. Also, wanted a little bit more wheelbase to make it a little more comfortable for me. And obviously more rollover, which the 29-inch wheel front's going to help with. So, bike crashed. Had to get new parts anyway. Finally went and fixed the blown up wheel with a bigger wheel and got a new fork as a result. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. So since the last bike check, no major changes. Took pretty much everything, just kept riding it. I was actually borderline maybe thinking of selling this bike or passing it on to my son when he gets a little bit older, etc. Just because I was looking to maybe get into something more enduro focused. I really like the Nirvana by Gorilla Gravity. I like the Banshee Titan. I think those are some cool bikes that have more boutique / local kind of feel to it versus the Yeti. I prefer to get stuff, a local American made when I can, especially since I'm not necessarily looking for the best performance. I'm not a pro rider or anything. I'm strictly recreational. Wouldn't even call myself amateur, even though, you know, when I'm really going, I'm riding 3, 4, 5 times a week. So I do want something that's going to be good, solid, meet my needs. I know enough now to kind of figure out what I want out of this bike. So if I were going to buy another bike, I don't know if I go mullet necessarily, but I definitely go with something burlier up front. So, you know, I'm way past the point of making any money selling this bike. So we're going to go with the Frankenbike style for now. Here's what we got. We've got Raceface, Aeffect, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's the Z30 wheel. I like it a lot so far. It feels pretty light for what it is. It's built up a lot more than the DT Swiss ones that came with the bike. Should hopefully not bend and blow out the tire and the whole front end like the last one did. Even though I did ride it hard for years and years, so I guess I can't complain. We still got that OneUp back. I went to Maxxis Assegai, double down up front. Again, I prefer not to rub a tire and faceplant or land in the rocks like I did. Upgraded the RockShox fork, Domain RC. It's 38mm stanchion, 160mm travel, debonair spring. I've only been riding it for about half an hour and I love it already. It feels really big and strong, and I can't wait to try it downhill, even with just this little downhill over here. We'll see how it goes. We did all that stuff up front. Kind of nice to get the post mounts off the off the caliper there, because the old the old Fox shock required it. It's a little easier set up there. Same rotor, same everything. It doesn't have a quick release hub, which I already kind of miss, but that's okay, not that big of a deal. And I got everything set up and ready to roll. And again, try some more on this trail here. Enjoy the ride together. So far, I really like it. There's a lot more wheel up front. It kind of feels like I'm riding my old big wheel, which was a Smurf, by the way. So I guess this is fitting. There's a lot up front. It's really neat in that regard with the 44mm offset and the big wheel. I like it so far. Probably gonna cut some of this jibber jabber out of the video, but if it is useful, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff. Let's keep riding. All right, let's see how the Yeti SB140 feels going downhill in mullet mode. Actually, I remember to put the new Domain fork into bouncy mode. I'm not taking jumps on this chick. Not getting a lot of traction. Bike feels good. There's only so much the skinny tires can do through that stuff. I usually get air off this part, but I lost all the speed. So, just kind of grinding through that stuff. I was able to kind of stand up and get over the bike a little more. This, you can probably tell by the camera, it's got smooth mode on too, but this is not hero dirt. I was comfortable. I felt in control, but the tires were all over the place, especially the rear end. So, we'll redo that. That wasn't the best. Traction's the problem with the conditions today. This is gonna be gross. There we go. I really like to wear long pants when I'm out here, and I forgot today. Lyme disease again. That would suck. Alright, see how? Alright. Got hit in the head with the branch, and I had to hop that. And I didn't crash, so that's good. Bike is definitely still more scalpel than sledgehammer, even with the big wheel up front. It's a little easier to ride in here. Let's see how the speed feels. bad. All right, so I'm always lamenting the trees around here falling down. And if you follow me on Instagram, see my son and I do some trail maintenance. We're not the only ones. Some of this big stuff's still in play, which kind of ruins the fun. Hiking, no big deal. Mountain biking, not so much. I would need a much bigger tire to roll over that. There's a kind of a V-shaped gully over here. Let's see how it feels. Oh yeah, that was easy. I don't know if I'm in love with the mullet right now. Just the fact I never actually owned a 29er. I actually stand up to ride up that part. I forgot. So when that little wheel gets going, it's not spitting out rocks like up the big hill. It goes nice. Kind of doing a figure eight here. Actually more like a straight up loop. Figure eight would bring me down there where there's a traffic jam. Less quiet, peace of mind area to ride in and enjoy. And it's also more grown in that way. I hike over there. I don't ride there as much as I used to. I mean, the spring and the fall. Maybe in the winter if it's mild again. But this video is probably going on long enough already. So let's tuck in a little bit. So you can hear some of the cars. Do some final thoughts. So thanks for hearing me explain my first impressions of my Yeti SB140, now mulleted on the trail. A little easier going over some stuff like that without having a bunny hop or anything. Felt a little sketchy downhill because of the conditions. I never had a problem before, so that's what I'm blaming this for. I am loving the extra real estate out front. I guess I always wanted a longer wheelbase bike than this. And with the longer stanchions, a bigger tire, it's giving it to me. I also have a longer stem too. I mentioned that a few times in past videos, and in this one too. So it's feeling a lot more like what I kind of always want out of it. Is it full on enduro or downhill bike? No, definitely not. You can feel stuff a lot more. Still kind of have the 140 mil out back, so we're not getting huge plush rides out of it, but it still feels so nimble and quick. I feel really confident right now being able to ride it back here and probably any of the trails near me with the backwoods type of stuff. So we'll get out to Powder Ridge and give it a shot downhill as soon as I can and let you know some more. Thanks for watching. Again, this is Bill with Two Wheel Druid. Take care. Have a great day.